I think the interesting part about what I thought was that you're able to make friends everywhere. One of the things that we found to like notice in like our generation is people are struggling to like make friends and like are feeling alone all the time, even though like we're surrounded by so many people from so many different cultures. Like UIUC in a way is like a mini world, right? It's like a collection of people from
everywhere,
all around the planet.
Yeah,
and
literally everywhere. It's crazy.
you're getting a taste of every single culture if you just interact, but just somehow still that hesitation or something's not clicking.
And I think we have the fact that we all kind of we got social media, so I can talk to my friend from grade school from 50 years ago or 40 years ago. I can talk to them and I'll just text them, but I won't talk to the person next to me.
Right.
Like I have like student projects, and I'm like, part of the thing is like, you have to call the client. They're like, can we text them? I'm like, no. You have to call them, like on the phone, because the impact of an actual phone conversation is much more than a text message.
Right.
And people have kind of gotten away from that. Because, I mean, even for me, I'm like, if I'm going to order pizza, even 5 years ago, I'm like, I'm just going to call. Now I'm like, oh, no. Do they have online ordering? Like, I'll check it. Where is it? I'm not going to call them because they're late, but I'm going to check that again. And we've kind of fallen away from human interaction. That's one thing I think is really great about travel, because you're forced to interact with people because you're going to different places. You got to order food because, excuse me. If you're at home, or you're at home, or at the dorm, it's cafeteria, you just walk through, put it on there. There's no talking, no looking. But you go out to a restaurant, you have to say, good day, I'm Mark, I'm going to be your waiter today. What would you like? And you have to have some kind of interaction, right? And so that's there. And I think it's really sad because COVID also, not only did we have the technology was kind of pulling us apart, but then COVID happened, which made us all isolated.
Right.
So then we really went to just electronic communication, whether it's Zoom, whether it's YouTube, whether it's, just texting. I mean, I'm older. I have my family with me, so I was okay. But I think of the students that you think about when you're junior high, when you're really forming who you are, they lost those 2 years. Those kids, like, they don't know who they are, right? Because this is where you start having your friends and stuff. And so that made it even harder because they didn't have friends for 2 years. And so now they're not talking to people. They don't know how to talk to people. And I see that now in the students that are here, like presentation skills and stuff is not what it used to be. But we as a university, Geese, like one of the things we try to do, I do these soft skills seminars where it's like, I see like we did one on networking, we're going to do one on, how to do professional presentations because students just don't know. Because think about it, I mean, doing a presentation on Zoom, it's not real. Like you can have it sitting right behind the screen. Yeah, we know how you all cheat on the exams. We know. But it's like, when you actually do a real presentation with people, when you have the people looking at you, or here's one that always gets my students when they do their presentations, how many people don't pay attention? They're like, oh, Professor Wolters, how do you do it? Like, you have all these students and they're just on their computer or their phone and they're not paying attention to you. I'm like, it's their money they're throwing away. Like, and I'm not gonna waste your money because you actually want to pay attention because you want to throw your money away. So that's been one of those things. I've seen a lot more of that. And so that's why, I have videos for all of my classes. So but it's not like me talking at the whiteboard talking. It's me traveling the world. And I'm like, here's, we're doing, like supply chain management in Rwanda. So I'll use the example from Rwanda when we're in Rwanda to make it more interesting to kind of bring it in. Because I've seen over the last few years, that's how people have really changed. Like, I'm going to learn on YouTube. I'm going to, interact that way. And so I've tried to do that. But that's one of those things, you're right. Like for students, it's really tough how we've kind of fallen apart. So we have to make a concerted effort, not just like the university or the College of Business or Geese or whatever, but we as people, we need to call up our friends. Because how many people, like I see in my like adult friends, everyone kind of like had their bubble. Like they had their cul-de-sac or they had their apartment building and they only hang out with their friends in that apartment building during COVID. And now that we're, a year away out of it, people haven't like branched out to their old friends. And we had Thanksgiving dinner with some friends of ours that we literally used to drink with and have parties with at least twice a week for 5 years, maybe 6 years straight. And then COVID happened. We didn't see anybody for 6 months. We didn't see, and then we seen him probably like we'll see him quarterly now. Like what happened? We're together. Like why don't we see each other? I'm like I don't know, because we've gotten so used to being home and alone and stuff, and we have to make it a point. And that's what's tough is getting out of that shell, breaking that loneliness shell and isolationist to go out and talk to people. And it's tough because a lot of people become very introverted during this time. And it's tough to like break out. I'm very an extroverted person. I love talking. But even for me, sometimes I'm like, they canceled their plans. Shucks, we can't meet up, So that's one of those things you really have to like work on. I actually had a meeting today. I was talking with the accounting faculty about putting together an event just to get students to come do stuff together. It's called What's in It for Me? Because that's also another thing. People aren't doing things. What's in it for me? What's the big deal? Like that's all going to be. What's in it for me? Where we're going to talk about the importance of being in contact with people. What does relationships mean? You know, not like romantic relationships, just relationships in general.
Right.
We need people. So it's a really big issue that I think like we all should be dealing with, because the ramifications of a lot of people with very bad social skills is not a really good place you want to be.